No doubt, brother. No doubt. Well, the game that you are choosing to play and going to be playing this weekend is one in the 30 ride for Rahal Letterman Racing in St. Louis at Gateway. I thought that it was going to be Saturday night under the lights in the evening again, and it turns out I was wrong. It is Sunday afternoon. But regardless, looking forward to it. Now, you've been on the simulator, you said last week. You were able to get in there at Honda. You're taking off, going to be out there in the very, very hot weather. But it is an oval. It is a fun, always exciting, interesting race. How are you feeling going in? What are you looking forward to most? What are you most concerned about?
Yeah, honestly, super pumped about it. Can't wait to get going. It's a new situation. I've talked about on this podcast before how difficult it is getting into a new situation with, we have 1 hour of practice or 90 minutes of practice. We can pretty much use 3 sets of tires, maybe. We'll run 1 full set out all the way to the end of its life, maybe 2 qual sims. So that's a challenge to get used to a whole new environment. To get to work with an engineer who does not, who has not heard me describe what cars do before, right? That's a relationship that has to be, that has to grow, that we have to get used to each other, working with each other. They've been great to work with so far, for sure. But yeah, it's something that I wish I was jumping in as someone who has had no experience driving an IndyCar before, right? It's much better jumping in with no prior information sometimes than a lot of different experience in different cars. But I think after having driven the Shank car, that has kind of jumbled up my experiences and maybe given me the feel of a different vehicle. So we'll see. I think the most interesting thing, which was announced this week as well, the alternate tires that we have to run for the race on Sunday, that was kind of a question mark over the last few days. I talked to Marshall Pruitt about it, did a little article with him on that. And to let our folks know, the folks that follow this show, obviously on the street and road courses, IndyCar, we have to run at least one lap of the red tires and the primary tires, right? Or the green tires, whatever they are on the street courses. Because it switches up the strategies of the race, right? The red tires supposed to be softer, faster, not last as long, etc. Sometimes, like places like the Indy GP, they're the more ideal tire. But now at St. Louis, this is something we've never done before. An oval race where you have 2 compounds of tire, that's brand new, and I really don't know what to expect. It's something that we've never done. So that'll throw some question marks out for sure. I think the way we get to practice with them too is we only get 1 set to practice on. So 1 set to practice on and then 1 set for the race. So at some point, and what's fascinating, and this was announced this week too, is that we can't start the race on the alternate tires. So a lot of the times, like let's say we practice on them, they last 8 laps, right? If you're starting in the back, you'd want to start on those things immediately, pit and get rid of them. But we can't do that. So it's basically going to be pick the stint you want to run the alternate tire, type of a race. And that is going to create a strategy shift. So I think it'll make the racing really exciting. And honestly, what is sad is that someone's going to get lucky. Some people are going to get lucky by picking the right stint for those tires, and they might not know if they work better towards the end of the race or getting rid of them at the beginning. They might have wasted a bunch of time. So it's just something that creates a bit of chaos. So I think it's exciting, though. I'm excited for the opportunity. I love oval racing, but I think that the most difficult part about oval racing is how fast we are going on these tires, right? 1% of a grip change in the tire is a huge difference. So you could work all day long on your car on those primary tires, and then you might have to suffer on the alternate tire, because if you change the grip just a tiny bit, it can drastically alter the handling of the car, especially on ovals. Like on road and street courses, we usually get, in my experience, on the red tires, you can go a little bit of a different balance shift, from the primary tire to the red tire. Usually you're like, all right, I'm going to add a couple turns of front wing for the alternate tire, take those back out for the, for the primary tire. Some teams, their balances are a little bit close and they can basically just put both tires on and have the same balance. But a lot of the teams will run specific qualifying setups for the red tires because they can get more out of them, right? So this is a very, very interesting, basically just wrench to throw at the race in St. Louis.
Hey man, I love it. Let's make some more.
Yeah.
Let's make it even more interesting. Let's get people up front or usually aren't up front. Let's have a day. I'm excited for it. Should be great.
Yeah, and honestly, the Rahal team, they had Graham was in the top 10 last year. He even led the race. And Jack, my buddy, who I'm replacing, sadly, sad for Jack, but he was running the top 10 for a little while before he hit the wall. So yeah, there are some things to be looking forward to there. 28 cars, obviously, again, because big field, big event. I can't wait for it.